My wife and I were just actually talking about that. So we're at that stage where we don't have any kids, but
Hmm.
all of our friends do, and like my brother does, and her sister's got a kid on the way. And so we get like kind of our kid fix when they bring them over. We love hanging out with them and playing with them, but then it's like even by the time they go home, it's like we're tired. And I'm like, how do they do that all the time, constantly, like, sun up to sundown? But I mean, I know people figure it out, but it's like good on them, it's a lot. So
Yeah, and just the biggest thing for me is like whatever anyone wants to do is what they should do. Like we have one
yeah,
kid and we're done and we're good. But like the idea of having two kids, how there's only two of us, and if there's two
yeah.
kids, the math, and then if you have three kids, you're outnumbered. That's insane. So and even like having no kids, whatever you want to do. There's it's all good, but I feel like there's just pressure from every angle, every side.
I know we definitely have gotten that. We got married last year or in 2022. It's right after everybody's like, hey, when's the kid coming? When's the kid coming? And we're just like, I don't know, like just let's be married for a little bit, and just kind of enjoy it. So, yeah.
Yeah, and how you're in West Branch? Have you been out there for a long time?
Yeah, so I started my career out here. I got hired by West Branch, and then when I got hired here, I had to live in town. So
Okay.
I bought a place like right off the bat, and then been here since. And we love it out here. It's not too far from Iowa City. My wife works at the hospital there, so it's just like 15 minutes for her to get to work.
Yeah,
Super
yeah,
close. Yeah. Yep. So gotten a few of my friends to move out here now and hang out and be close to me. So it's good.
yes. I saw
Yeah.
TC out there now. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that was kind of a surprise. I know he wanted to move, and then he's like, "Hey, I bought a house out here." I was like, "No way!" So I tried to get Sully to come out, but he's stuck where he's at, so that's
So,
all good.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm heading over to hang with him and do some drone stuff this weekend. So
nice. Yeah,
we
yeah. I
might
saw
grab
you got
some lunch
that.
lunch if you're off.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I saw you got that drone. You're flying around and
I
yeah,
love it. I like it's my new like obsession. Like it is so much fun, and it's just a combination of like I've always wanted to be able to fly. It's a video game controller, and like just the video and photography stuff is just so cool.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure it's quite the learning curve. I've never done it, but I'm sure it's
It is like pretty quick. Like it just makes sense. Like okay, like I see how this works. Then it will like auto land and stuff for you. And when it takes off the GPS, it's takeoff spot, so you can hit just a button. Then it will just come back and land in that spot.
nice. It's pretty foolproof on that end. That's cool.
Yeah. So it's a lot easier than I thought.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
But yeah, I think that's gonna be the new obsession. And for your work, so you don't work for West Branch, or you used to?
Yeah, so I started out there and then I worked there for about 3 years and then in 2015 I got hired on at the county here. So I work for the sheriff's office now. And I've been there. This will be my 10th year there now. So
Yeah, that's so interesting because I knew that, but then it just hit me like, oh, I should talk to Alex. Like that's the most interesting and interesting gets,
yeah,
and something
yeah,
I like know about, but I don't know like anything thing about. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, this is
yeah,
gonna be great.
yeah. That was actually one thing like when I started out in my job, like you think you know what you're getting into, because you're like, oh yeah, I've seen the movies and the shows and like
Hmm.
heard the stories, but then you actually do it and you're like, I had no clue. Like this is what I was getting into. Like all the stuff that you don't think about, like that you'll have to do, just like helping, do CPR on somebody or, like all the medical calls or just little stuff that throughout my day that I didn't think I'd have to do that I do every day. And it's crazy.
So, yeah, I would think of like flat tires or someone got locked out of their car or just like ran.
Yeah. A lot of helping old ladies change their tires. I like that stuff. It's nice to like. be that person to
Hmm.
like kind of save the day a little bit on, it's like something minor, just locking your keys in your car and like having somebody to come help you get that. You're in the middle of nowhere. Like in Cedar County, it's pretty rural. We don't have Uber out here. We don't have any of that stuff. Have somebody just come pick you up. So a lot of times we're even just like a taxi service for somebody to get them somewhere safe for the night or someplace that they need to go.
Yeah, yeah, that's thick. And Cedar County, where is that compared to Johnson County on a map?
Yeah, so we're right just east of Johnson County.
Okay.
It starts like in West Branch, and then if you know where like Durant is,
Yep.
Durant's like on like the basically other side of it. We're a big square, and Durant and West Branch are kind of opposite ends of each other. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm in both those places a lot for work, so I know those well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
As a sheriff, so what's the difference between like a sheriff and a police officer? To me, it's sheriffs are more on the interstate, and that's all I got.
Yeah, no. So you have police officers who are hired and work for city agencies. So like Iowa City Police Department, Cedar Rapids Police Department, stuff like that. They work for a city municipality. I work for the county. So I work for Cedar County. So we patrol anywhere inside that county, which would include all the cities inside of it. So West Branch, Tipton, Clarence, Durant, all those places. There are a lot of small towns basically, but and then you have the state patrol, and they basically cover anywhere in the state, mostly the interstate and highways and stuff like that. And then we have separate responsibilities on top of just patrolling. We have, we're in charge of the jail where we house inmates for other agencies. We're in charge of the civil division, so that's where we serve papers, so like divorce papers, child support, stuff like that. We're the ones who serve papers. So and then mental committal. So anytime somebody is committed through the courts, we're in charge of transporting them basically from wherever they are to a hospital so they can get basically the help they need. So,
Hmm.
yeah. So then on top of those, we patrol, we do any investigations that are inside the county, work traffic accidents, all the above basically. Yeah. So,
Yeah, yeah, that's so interesting because you always see like the different like sections just about and like you're like I think I know what they're up to, but like no. So what's your day today like? Is there like a schedule or do you just like drive around and?
yeah, it's honestly every day is completely different. Like,
Hmm.
unless it's like really slow, which that definitely happens. We don't get the call volume like bigger agencies do, but we still have everything that happens in those bigger agencies. We just don't have as much of it. But my day usually, so I have a take home car. So my car is outside my house. So when I walk out my door, basically I'm at work ready to go. And then I'm basically responsible throughout the day to just handle any calls that, come at me. But then on top of that, obviously work traffic enforcement. So if I come across something where somebody, is going to get pulled over, I'm responsible for that. And then, yeah, serving civil papers. Just kind of depends on the day what's going on. We could have a day where you're going call to call to call, or it's, there's nothing all night, and then you get one call at the end, or just kind of wild. So it's one thing I do like about it. It's like every day is different. It's not the same like mundane thing every day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so how do you call in sick or do you like how did that work? I feel like you
Yeah.
can't.
Well, that's a good question. Basically, we just have to make sure like like somebody on my shift is working, and then so there's definitely been days where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna tough it out. Like
Hmm.
I'll just go in and see how it goes, and then like a couple hours in, you're like, I'm miserable, man. I just need to go home, Or if you like wake up and you're sick and you're just like I can't do it. If as long as your shift's covered, then you're good. So I usually have somebody out with me during my shift. So as long as somebody else is out, then we're usually good to go.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause that's what I wonder during the day is it seems like it's responding to lots of calls, and they're always just all types of calls. I'm guessing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is there ever situations where like you have to come into Iowa City, like if something like crazy happens, or how did that work?
Yeah, so like Iowa City specifically, I have gone over there for things, but not, I don't know that they would call us intentionally just because they have a lot more resources than we
Hmm.
do. But like, for example, if like the state patrol's chasing a car through our county and it ends up in Iowa City, like we've done that quite a bit where I can remember specifically a time where we chased a guy all the way to the Coral Ridge Mall exit and they crashed like right in that intersection there by Kohl's.
Yeah.
And I was like, and it started way on the other side of the county. So it's just a lot of
Oh,
driving.
yeah.
And that's where we ended up. Yeah. So stuff like that, then we would, but if they had something really, really crazy, then they may call us if it's close to us, but not necessarily, I guess. Yeah.
And for like a speed chase, can you go as fast as you want?
Yeah. I mean, within reason, like
Or no,
you
you.
have to be like, I don't know, there's not necessarily like a set speed that we can or can't go,
Hmm.
but you have to be able to, like, as an officer, to basically, you can't help the community if you're driving reckless too. Like, you have to be able to, the guy who's trying to get away, or I should say, the person who's trying to get away, it doesn't care like how they're driving, but we have to. Yeah. Um, there's definitely times when we get up in the triple digits chasing people
Yeah.
along the interstate and stuff like that. But we can't just like zip through intersections without looking and
Right.
just
Yeah.
go, 100 miles an hour through your neighborhood like they can. It's we have to be more cautious than them.
Yeah. And how are you able to like recreate those situations, or is it just like what was your first time dealing with that?
Like in a high speed chase.
Yeah, or the first call where you were like, okay.
Yeah, that was part of that. Going back to that, like I didn't know what I was signing up for, like feeling. But yeah, I remember the first chase I was a part of was just that. There was a trooper that was chasing a car, and I happened to be just like not very far from him, and I was set up where I could get in behind him and just kind of help follow him, and yeah, like having never been a part of that before, and I was at the time probably 21 years old, and I'm like, here we go. And so we're just like zooming across the interstate, and finally they crashed out, and luckily that everybody was okay. But I can remember afterward, like driving away from it, and I was just exhausted because I just had this huge adrenaline dump, and I was like, oh man, I like if I have to keep doing this, this is a lot. But those are where we're at, kind of few and far between. They do happen, but you just kind of learn to like, okay, you have a job to do, slow down, focus, and then you kind of get that like your breath back and you're more conscious of what you're doing. It's definitely a learning curve, but the 21-year-old me who was doing it, I was like, holy shit, like we're doing this.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and where did you have to learn how to control your mind in those situations, or did you have some of it growing up through like sports or working or anything like?
A little bit. I think, that is one thing that like when we go through the academy and like get all your training and stuff, they teach you how to drive, they teach you how to shoot, they teach you how to do all this stuff, read code and stuff like that. But you know, your mental health and how you like take care of that during a situation and after, I think they kind of lack on. So that's kind of up to each person to kind of learn how to do and like process everything that they see. So that for me kind of just came with time and like experience dealing with, not only like a chase, but like a death that we go to, like, I've been around death, but never in that aspect where I'm like working it. So to be able to like process that all as you're doing it and then afterwards to kind of rationalize it in your head, that takes some getting used to, but I don't think it ever like completely goes away just because that's how your brain works. But I think that just takes some time on the job to get some experience from that.
Yeah, yeah, that's one thing that I just think about a lot. Me and Nick were just talking about just the mental just stress, and just I feel like you have to be just kind of alert and not locked in all the time.
Yeah.
they're just like aware, and that just has to be just hard. So just shouts out to you, anyone else, but I feel like that there should be better ways for just people to get help with like their mental health, especially in that field.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I think that like I think it's getting there. I think that more and more people are starting to realize like because the unfortunate part of my job is like we do have like a high suicide rate, we have a high divorce rate, alcohol abuse is definitely an issue in my career too. I'm not saying that I struggle with any of that, but it's like people who see this stuff and do this stuff more than I do, they may work in like a larger agency where they deal with all this stuff, maybe more day to day than like I might see it, once a month or once every couple months.
Hmm.
That really weighs on a guy. And then they have to take that home. Once you come home, even though you're off work, you still don't like just not think about that stuff, and then you really take away a lot. Like one thing I've really come to appreciate as I've gone through my career is just like life is so fragile. Like I know it sounds cliche, but I've seen so many things that like people do so innocently, but they end up on the wrong side of it and they just like then their life's over, and makes you appreciate a lot more, which is a good thing. But I had to view it through that to understand that, which is something to be said. But yeah,
Yeah, I can only imagine. Not even like the quote unquote like the violence and dangerous stuff, but like if you're there at a crash or like at a death, and you have to see somebody see their child is dead, and you're there to see that or some shit.
yeah, 100%. Like that was one of the things that really I never was a part of until a few years ago, where you're at a death or something that involves a child. That just like kind of hits you in a different spot than like if you go to something and like an older person has had a heart attack or something like that. You kind of almost can rationalize like, okay, they're old, they passed away at home, but when it's a child or something that happens to somebody young or even an animal, like you're like, man, I don't know how to feel about that because I've never been a part of that, and it just makes you
Mhm.
like put everything in a different perspective. So
Yeah, that's one thing with even just having a kid. If you just like just so much more empathy for people, and I feel like you can just love people more because like,
yeah,
oh, this guy who is 50 years old and just bitter and mad at the world. They used to be a baby. They had so much potential, and then whatever
yeah,
happened. Here you are. Like this is what you get.
yeah, for sure, for sure. How's that? Is that kind of what you went through having Leon? Like, I'm sure that watching him grow and stuff has definitely put a new spin on things for you.
Yeah, and just like even like I love my parents even more than like I thought that I could. Thinking like, oh, like everything they did for me that I just assumed they wanted to do, they like no, like they could have been like doing their own hobbies, but like they came to all my games and just to everything, and like the way that they feel about me like the over like just be safe, just be careful. Like, oh, I get that now,
Yeah,
100%, and it's just like, oh, damn.
I know.
Like it just
Yeah,
everything's just a little more scary now, but in a good way.
yeah. I still get my mom will call me every now and then when I'm at work, and she'll be like, I hope you're being careful out there. Like
Oh
still
yeah.
has that mom in her, even though like, it's just funny that she still calls and like checks up on me when I'm at work. And I try not to tell her what I've done because I don't want to scare her. Yeah, but it's good to hear from them when I'm out driving around and stuff. So it's nice.
Ooh, that's awesome. Yeah. Then
Yeah.
of course she'd call like, hey, just wanted to say, hey, I'll buy you some lunch or something.
Yeah.
Cla-
Just got done
Classic.
driving 100 miles an hour on the interstate, but I don't tell you.
But yeah, just hanging out.
Yep.
Um, do you like choose your own like gear? Like is that a thing? Like is there like a room where you walk in? then there's a guy behind a counter with like a bunch of guns, and he's like, "What would you like today?"
I wish it was that way, man, because I could I could pick some pretty cool stuff. But no, I mean, so we're like the stuff we wear every day. Obviously, we take home and like we're responsible for maintaining that. You know, like our firearms that we carry and stuff. But as far as like the our rifles and stuff that we carry in the car, those are issued to us, so we're responsible for. Yeah, we don't really have anybody that like hands them out or anything like that. Most agencies are like that, where each guy is either issued or they own their own rifle that they carry with them now. So yeah,
Okay, cool, man. That's what's up. I just another question. I wonder how that works.
yeah.
And
But
career wise, do you have like goals or things you're trying to do or positions? And also, how does that kind of work in your career? Weird. Do you like moving like death jobs? You like the FBI and CIA to the United States?
there's definitely guys that go that route. I have a few buddies that have gone through and they started with like small town agencies and then they ended up working in the Secret Service. You know, I know one guy that I worked with here and he did detail for Kamala when she was with
Oh yeah.
Biden's administration. Yeah, and he was driving her around. So every now and then we hear from him and he'd kind of tell us a few stories and stuff. So that was kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
Um, as far as myself, you know, once I got to the county, I was like, all right, I did it. You know, I'm here.
Oh
But
yeah.
then, like anybody, you get comfortable, and then you're like, okay, what's next? Like, what am I gonna do now? I think down the road, I'd like to be in some sort of administration role where I'd be able to oversee guys or you know training or stuff like that. So I got on our tactical team a couple years back, so I've been on that doing that. Um, so that takes up my time doing that. So, yeah, so down the road, I think I'd like to get more of like an admin role where maybe not so much road time, where I could kind of do a little more office work and enjoy the inside and warmth and not be out in the snowstorm every now and then. So, yeah,
Nice, nice. That's what's up. And wish you the best of luck.
yeah, I appreciate that, man.
And we've been going for about a half hour. We can keep chatting if you want, but I want to take up your evening.
Yeah, no, you're good, man. I'm down for however long you need. So
All right, cool. I think I just got a few more questions, and then we can wrap. But we should definitely chat again. I'd be down because one thing I wanted to ask that you're like are you a department or like what do I even call your thing?
yeah, I'm with the Cedar County Sheriff's Office, and some people call it, you know, department, whatever. So, but yeah, they're kind of yeah interchangeable.
Do you guys do any like not marketing, but any like social media stuff like this or anything?
Yeah, we don't. We do have like a Facebook page, but a lot of our stuff that we put out on that is like, hey, somebody found this dog. Like, is this yours? Or, you know,
Hmm.
if we have like a string of burglaries or
Oh yeah.
something that's been happening quite a bit, we'll put like notice out to the community. I think, you know, like I think the last thing we put out was like a phone scam that's been going around, stuff like that.
Yeah, because this another reason why I just wanted to talk to you is just like the whole just cop police stigma and everything is just it's just the whole thing just a big thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like and just with everything thing with like crime and just with everything thing and like because I don't like blanket statements like saying, "Oh, all cops are this. They're all black people are this. They're all just this or that." I just don't like that, and I want that to change. Just so I feel like people just need to like see people as their neighbor, not just this thing. So I'd love to just do more like videos or anything with you or whoever else on the team, just to like talk about mental health or whatever. I just think it's important.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like the relationship between like the community and like the police has definitely changed. Even just like right after I started my career was the incident in Ferguson. And that I feel like in our kind of adult time was when like a big change, like you had
Mhm.
Rodney King like the early 90s, but we weren't really a part of that. We
Yeah,
couldn't really understand that, but like when Ferguson happened, it definitely had a different perspective for people. And I think that started it. And then you had the George Floyd incident and then everything that came with that. And I think just like what you said, like that blanket statement, I think hurts relations between officers and the community because I've seen it plenty of times where I go to talk to people and they're just like very standoffish, very, don't want to talk to me, even though like I'm probably in certain situations like on their side for something or like there to help them. And I wish I knew that, but I also, as just a regular person, understand why they have their guard up too, like maybe they've had a bad interaction with a police officer and like I'm not that person, but they just like they don't know that. So I get it. I definitely get it. Like why people aren't always the nicest to us. Like I guess for lack of a better term, but on the opposite side, like we've had the same thing. Like we have people who want us to be hurt just because we're police officers. Like as a reason, like there's people who spray paint like cop killer and stuff on buildings. It's just like I don't know where that disconnect happened or where like they started feeling those feelings, but that's how they feel. And I'm, I'm just one guy. I'm probably not going to change that. So if I can have a good interaction with somebody and maybe say, for example, I pull somebody over and that might be like the worst part of their day. But like if I say, hey, just a warning, like just slow down or whatever, and maybe like change their day or change their perspective on how they view us, then that might be one little thing that I do to maybe help that. So
yeah, and I feel that too. But especially now, it's not as big as like a thing. But remember, like the whole it was almost like a joke, and it was like in like culture, which are like, oh, like the scary black guy. But I mean, it still is, but like you don't really hear that as much on like TV, you know.
yeah,
But
yeah,
so just like being this size just all the time, I was like, well, I know I'm like the only black guy in like this area. So I'm gonna be nice. People aren't like, well, I had this sign. I had this interaction with this guy. Then he was nice. So now I can't say that. Oh, I don't like black people because of this or they're this or they're that. So like I feel obligated just to be nice, I guess, and like to make
yeah,
people feel comfortable in a way, which might not be right, but I've just always had it in my head, and it's like a
yeah,
thing.
yeah. I've never met one person who said I don't like Jesse. So I think you're, I think you're nailing it, man. But yeah, like I kind of feed off that same thing. Like, if I can be that like person or that officer that somebody runs into that they're like, hey, like he's actually a pretty good dude. Like I don't mind talking to him, like I think that if people just saw us more as regular people other than just as an officer or deputy, then I think that would change. But, I think for the most part, like in the area and the community that I work, we have a lot of support from people.
Mhm.
People actually are like, hey, I appreciate what you do. They'll stop you on the street. They'll, you'll go to pay for like your drink at a gas station. They already paid for it for you. Like there's tons of people out there that are really supportive. So like I try to keep that in the back of my head when you see a post or you see like a video of somebody like treating an officer like crap and you're like, that's not everybody. Like that's just that person. There's plenty of people out here and out there who support you. So yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking. I would. Yeah, I can even imagine like if I saw it from your perspective and just like saw the comments and that shit. Yeah, that'd be tough. And I'm petty too, so I'd be in there like, oh well, how about fucking let's do it. So thank you.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding. It's definitely like I try not to read comments like on anything, but
Don't do it. It's just losers. It's just losers and psychos.
yeah, it's hard to uh to think why people think the way, or rationalize why people think the way they do. again, like I said, we're pretty fortunate. We get a lot of support from people, and we get plenty of thank yous out there, so it's good.
Good, good. That makes me happy to hear.
Yeah,
And yeah, just
yeah,
keep doing it. And thank you.
yeah. Appreciate that. Thank you, man.
Yeah, and yeah, we should definitely talk again because like there's so many things that we could dive into more. And you, and Nick should all chat sometime. That would be fun. 'Cause we just talk about just like police work and stuff a lot, and like what I do if I was a cop, and like what he do. We both. It's very Training Day esque, but
Yeah,
be all right.
yeah. I've caught so like that's one of the downsides of my job is there's like a lot of downtime driving around. So I've caught a few of you guys' podcasts to listen
Okay.
to. Helps pass the times. Yeah, it's cool to hear what you guys are up to and see you guys do so well. So yeah.
And I'll send you this in a drive in case you want to just like have it or just like upload it, and then I'll make some clips too, and I can tag you in like your work if you want, but I'll send them to you first, just so you can see them over, because I'm not sure like what your rules are at your job. It's different things, so yeah.
Yeah, no, I haven't disclosed any of the top secret stuff, so
Yeah,
it's
okay.
you're good to I'm sure you're good to do whatever you need, man. So yeah.
Nice. Okay, I just wanted to be sure, and I'm just to be safe. I'd hate to be the downfall of your life there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Yeah.
All right. Let's do this again, and thank you.
Absolutely, man. It's good to see you.